You can all quote Hebrews 11:1 by this time, I believe. In all the different translations, Amplified is good, talking about the title deed. But Hebrews chapter 11 verse 1 says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Kobus van Rensburg translation, faith brings the unseen into the seen. 2 Corinthians 4 verse 17 and 18, this light affliction that is for a moment worketh for us an ever-increasing eternal weight of glory, while we do not look at the things that are seen, but at the things which are not seen. Because the seen is temporal, but the unseen is forever. Okay? So we got to look into the invisible by the presence and the Spirit of God to draw into the reality the things that we so need. So faith is a substance. Everybody say faith is a substance. Now 1 Corinthians chapter 15 says the following. There are different bodies. Bodies terrestrial, bodies celestial. Have you ever heard it? There are different bodies. Okay? There are bodies of angels and there are bodies of men. Angels don't come. Angels appear. Okay? So Jesus didn't come to the disciples after the resurrection. He appeared. And when Jesus appeared, he said, touch me, for a spirit has not flesh and bone. And then bam, gone is he. How would flesh just disappear? Okay, so there are different bodies. So Jesus has a glorified body after the resurrection, but it's still a body. The disciples could touch him without their hands going through his hand. So he was of substance, but not of matter. Do you understand? Jesus had substance, but he had no matter. Okay, this chair is substance, the material is the substance of the chair hoped for, the evidence of the chair not yet seen. So we take material, we make the chair. But it also has matter. So Jesus appeared in a substantial body without matter. So he could disappear and appear and disappear. That's why Hebrews chapter 12 verse 2 says, having your eyes fixed on Jesus, the author and finisher of faith. Okay, so if he's the author, he started our faith, he will finish our faith. He is of substance but not of matter. That's why Paul says, although we knew Christ after the flesh, we do not know him now after the flesh. Okay, but yet he said, I am flesh. So it's a different flesh. The Word became flesh of substance and matter. Then he was resurrected from the dead and he became substance without matter. Now he's the author and finisher of our faith. So I can look at this Jesus that I do not know after the flesh, but I do know him after the flesh. I can look at him and I can get the substance of things hoped for, knowing the realm where he dwells. Everything comes from there because it's from that realm that God said, let there be, and there was. Do you understand? So the same chapter in verse 4 says, I'll do a sermon on that later. Would you like a sermon like that? So the same chapter 11 verse 4 says, by faith, Abel brought a better sacrifice than Cain. By faith, he offered. Everybody says it costs faith to bring an offering. So faith is an invisible force that can work with substance that are without matter, bringing the invisible into the visible and make it matter. You got that? For those who know, about 10, 12 years ago, God gave me this revelation. and I believe many people got it after that. Money is the substance of things hoped for. It's the evidence of things not yet seen. Money is in the natural what faith is in the spiritual. That's why Jesus said you cannot serve two masters. Because both are forces. Faith can only be used, and so money. You can't eat money, you can't drink money, you can't make clothes of money, you can't sleep under money, you can't ride money, you can't fly with money. So money is the substance of things hoped for. Money is the evidence of things not yet seen. I also want one of these double translated Bibles. They are 300 rand. So I looked in the bookshop and I said, oh, I'd love a Bible like that. And I looked, 300 rand. So I have faith. Because without faith, it's impossible to please God. We are saved by faith. By grace through faith. It's not of ourselves, it's a gift of God. So Romans 12 verse 3, God has dealt to every man the measure of faith. So I have faith. Without faith, I can't live the Christian life. So I use my faith. The invisible force of substance that can bring invisible stuff into matter. So now I pray, I haven't got the Bible, but I've got a mental picture. Father, I need that Bible. In the name of the Lord Jesus, I confess that I will get it. So I take a visible force. Okay? And I sow it somewhere, and whatever I sow, I'll get a harvest of. So I'm in church and I say, I now sow for that Bible. Because a farmer sows with a purpose. Oh no, brother, you just give. No, that's the difference between giving and sowing. So I sow. I have 10 rand with me. That's all I have. But I want the Bible, so I'm sowing 10 rand. And I call my harvest as that Amplified Bible. Now somebody comes later and passes me 300 rand. So this is the substance of the Bible hoped for. This is the evidence of the Bible not yet in my possession. Now I go to the bookshop and I exchange money and I got my Bible. And that's how faith operates. I always got to have faith for the next thing. I can't use yesterday's faith for today's thing. Faith is just an exchange rate in the spiritual realm. So that's why the righteous shall live by faith. I got to have faith every day. Yesterday's faith is not good for today's things. Okay? So yesterday's money is spent. Now it's in the hand of somebody else. I don't know if I'll ever get that money again. But that money will work tomorrow as good as it worked today. It'll work a year from now as good as it was working today. So faith is always in operation. Is that good? So it takes faith to every month take a tithe off of your salary and go pay tithes. It takes faith after that you've given your tithe to give an offering on top of your tithe. Then during the months it costs greater faith to bring an offering and sow seed after I've paid my tithe, gave my offering, gave my first fruits, and then I sow. So I pay my tithes, it's my Christian duty. I give and know that as I give, it shall be given to me. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, shall men give unto my bosom. I give a first fruit because Ezekiel 44 verse 30 says the following. The first of the first fruits belong to the man of God. And that will bring a blessing on your house. The tithe bring a blessing to God's house. Meat in my house. The first fruit bring a blessing on my house. Then on top of that, I sow on purpose to get a harvest. My giving, I give. I cast my bread upon the water, and I leave it there. After a few days, it will automatically come back to me. But my seed, I call it. Whenever I sow, I say, Father, I sow today because I want to pay that thing, or I want to get that thing, or I want to get a new suit or a new clothes or whatever it is. Okay? And the church need to be taught the difference between tithing, giving, first fruits, sowing. Is that good? And all of that costs faith, especially if you have a budget that Christians should not have. How can you operate with a budget if you don't know what your income is? But Kobus, I know what my income is. No, you don't. You know what your salary is. The world has an income. Christians don't. They have a salary. Okay, please get it. Christians determine their income by using their salary. So the world has an income. My gross income is. Christians can't have a gross income because God has taken the limit off. And He just calls it wealth. Hope you understand. So the world can only live by what they earn. Christians don't. They always expand their income by using faith. So faith with money is the substance of determining income that has no limits and bounds.